When winter comes to Montana, snowstorms and cold bear down for months. But for some, winter is a season like any other. You just have to be ready to face it. Rick and Casey are big game hunters. Tracking wild animals has become second nature.
Good boy, Cash.
Scott Clark is a trapper and a fisherman. He followed the footsteps of his father, Jerry, and he knows the Madison Valley like no one else. Scott and Susie have learned to face the most difficult conditions. They're the only ones to live all winter in the brutal Big Hole Valley. The Whites and the Hollenbecks have their ranches to run and animals to feed. Many animals to feed. Jenny is a sled dog breeder and an outstanding competitor. Her team is one of the best in the state. Welcome to Montana, the land of the Western pioneers.
Nothing like a fresh morning in the mountains.
There's another one right there.
Got a good one. Swim right here. Boom, got him.
Good boy, Cat.
Woo! Woo!
Pioneers first crossed Montana in 1803. During the 19th century, European settlers came here looking for a better life. Most couldn't make it, but some of them, the most resilient, learned to brave the terrible winters of the Great West. They burnished the rugged reputation of the people of Montana. Rustic, uncompromising, and able to endure the snow and the cold. Near the village of Two Dot, on the White family's ranch, Rick and Harrison obtained a special license to cull 2 female elk from the herd on the ranch land. In recent years, the number of elk has drastically increased. They overgraze the cattle pasture, jeopardizing the livestock.
They could be anywhere.
After several days of tracking, Harrison and Rick finally managed to locate some of the herd. Harrison lined up his first shot, but no luck. This morning, the 2 hunters will try again. They head to the same spot as yesterday to find the elusive elk.
We knew, as much as a guy can know, where they were going to be, so we decided to split up again. I was gonna try to sneak up on top of this ridge and get into them in hopes that it would push them down the ridge into Rick, and then hopefully he could get a shot at one as well.
There's a bunch of elk behind this hill going that way. I'm gonna sneak up through one of these low spots and try to cut them off before they get to the open or any more open. So hopefully we can beat them there.
Approaching the ridge, Harrison must move like a shadow. If the elk spots him, the herd will flee in an instant.
Sneaking up on something out in the prairie is not as easy as it seems. You know, you've got to use little variations of hills and draws and whatever you can use to your advantage to get as close as you can. When you're out hunting on the prairie, it's going to be a long shot because you don't have cover to get any closer than that. So you got to be able to shoot somewhat long distances. I'm getting close to the horizon of it, and I two little bushes right on the very top of the hill. So I drop down and I crawl up to one of those bushes so my head blends in with that bush. That bunch of elk was out there about 300 yards or so. And so I laid there for a few minutes watching, trying to decide which one that I was gonna go for. And I picked what I thought was the lead cow.
Lead cow. Tagged her.
I made a good shot on it.
I'm gonna put that one down.
The rest of them were very confused. They had no idea where I was at or what was going on, you know.
God damn it. I can't tell where I'm fucking hitting.
God, it was cold that morning. You know, I had my glove off, and the rifle's cold from being outside. Metal trigger, bare finger, you know.
My scope is fucking loose or what? This fucking rifle.
Another miss. The intense cold apparently loosened his scope.
Got one on the ground.
I am balled up in a little hole there.
As the herd flees south, Harrison heads for the kill. Rick is still waiting for him, further down the valley. Looks like it's going to be a long day. Further north, the city of Great Falls is celebrating Montana's longest rodeo weekend of the year. This is where the season finals take place. After 8 months of competition and 35 rodeos organized throughout the state, the 12 best cowboys of each discipline compete for 3 action-packed days. After a good first round, Henry Hollenbeck, nicknamed Hank on the circuit, is still leading the steer wrestling category. The test consists of jumping from his running horse to grab a steer and flip it as quickly as possible.
When you feel their weakness, that's when you get the nose and man versus beast.
Every year he thinks he needs to retire or something because he's getting too old.
Henry is one of the oldest on the circuit and one of the most respected. Several times he's been crowned all-around champion, but behind him, the younger generation is pushing to take his place.
The younger generation is a drive for me. You know, I gotta step up to their level too.
On the warm-up track, as the national anthem sounds, the champions prepare for the second round. Henry's wife, Sarah, fears the steer wrestling event the most, but she knows that Henry has never been closer to winning the title than this year.
I'm excited for Henry. Hope it goes well. He works hard and practices a lot, and just hope it turns out in his favor. He's excited because he's pretty high up in the steer wrestling this year versus other years in the past. He hasn't been started this high, so he's got a good shot to win it. It's definitely the most dangerous of sports that he does. There's always the risk of the horn doing something, and I mean, he's had a few split chins, split lip, and he's not getting any younger, so it just gets a little more nervous that there's always something that could go wrong, and you just hope that all goes well and the horses perform how they should, and hope everybody stays safe by the end of the night.
During the first round, many competitors were bested by their steers. Henry played it safe, and with a time of 7.5 seconds, took 4th place. That kept him in the lead overall, but his most serious competitors are close behind him. For this second round, he must be willing to take more risk. A few seconds can make all the difference.
I'm just really thinking about being sharp on that barrier and just being ready to catch the steer. Having my horse set to where when that steer's out there in front of me, I gotta get my hands on it. Really concentrate on just really ride my horse to the steer.
Hank Hollenbeck rides in knowing he slipped to the number 2 spot.
Sitting behind the barrier, I was nervous, but I was more nervous getting up into the box and getting ready. But once you're sitting there, I mean, everything is just a blur, and all you see is the steer and what you're about to do.
Boy, he needed that, didn't he? He needed that. 4.8 on the run. The winner of tonight's event needed that victory. He is no stranger to the winner's circle, Hank Hollenbeck.
The second successful round for Hank Hollenbeck. Now he's the odds-on favorite to win the title.
Awesome. I tell you what, best of luck to you. Great Falls, give it up for round number 2 winner, Hank Hollenbeck.
He only has 1 lap remaining, and the season will end in style for the champion. On the western side of the state, there's a commotion in the small town of Lincoln, population 1,000. The race to the sky. Montana's most famous 100-mile sled dog race starts here each year.
It's one of the most challenging races because we're pretty much continually in the mountains and going up a mountain or coming down a mountain throughout the duration of the race. It was the first distance race in Montana, and it has always been the most challenging race, certainly in Montana, if not in the West.
Teams from all over the United States and Canada come to participate. Most know each other, and everyone realizes that if they have a problem in the race, they're all on their own.
You rely on your fellow mushers out on the trail for your survival. The wilderness that we're venturing into is full of dangers, and we have to put aside that we're in a race and help each other out if we need to.
This year, Jenny chose to put Soldier, her young dog, at the lead. A risky decision because Soldier was born with a malformed hip. He's had his hip prosthesis for only about 6 months. But since Soldier's birth, Jenny was convinced he has what it takes to win.
He was a fighter, so I figured Soldier was a fitting name. He was born to do it, and he was just a complete natural. Soldier was definitely a born leader.
This morning, Jenny and the other competitors are facing extreme conditions. The temperature drops to 35 below.
The weather was really bad. It was cold, and it was very windy. I realized that it was going to be the coldest race I had ever done. Even the dogs I had on my team that had been racing with me for years, even in Alaska, had not raced in these temperatures. So I was very nervous. If it's nasty, if the dogs are cold, not having fun, we're done. I won't put my dogs through that. We'll see how it goes.
Despite the conditions, Jenny's eager to start. She and her dogs have trained hard to be here, and she's determined to prove that Soldier can lead the pack, regardless of the weather.
Soldier, right in front.
An hour before the competition begins, the veterinarian checks the dogs to make sure they're race ready.
Okay, who we got left? Bella and Storm. Bella and Storm.
They're making sure that the dogs are all healthy and hydrated, that they're all physically able to run the race.
So Bella, 2.5 BCS, heart rate 100.
Okay, we are done.
Check that out, man. That's pit crew at its finest. Exactly.
The vet check went great. All the dogs look great. Soldier looks great. The vets seem very happy with how the team looks, so that's a good thing. I want to go into this feeling as good as possible since we've got some tough stuff in front of us.
Jimmy, do you have any questions?
They were in great shape. Their muscles were all good and no injuries. Feet were good.
When we walked in, she was like giving.
They were ready.
The dogs start to feel the excitement. They're ready to race. Jenny knows that the next few hours will be really tough.
I'm going to be really careful and really thinking about taking care of the dogs, taking care of myself out on the trail, and just understanding that if the dogs start being miserable or not having a fun time, I'm going to have to call the race. It's not fair to them to make them keep going if they're not comfortable and if they're struggling with the cold. Same goes for me, I guess. I've never been so nervous for a race before as far as my own safety, just because of how brutally cold it is, and the wind and the whiteout conditions. Hopefully I can keep my water and juice and food thawed out on the trail. I'll be out there for probably about 6 hours before I make it to the checkpoint. So all I can do is prepare and hope for the best and take care of the dogs and try and take care of myself and make it to the checkpoint, and then just, play it moment by moment and evaluate how I'm doing, how the dogs are doing, and what the weather's doing.
The competitors start every 3 minutes. Now it's Jenny's turn. She leads her 8 dogs to the starting line.
Forest Valley Market, and Cedar Lake, and Cisco Foods are her sponsors. Let's bring out Jenny.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Off they go. In the lead, Soldier is alongside Bella, an experienced champion who'll help the young dog keep the pace. In front of them is spread 55 miles of steep path until they reach a place where the dogs can rest a little. If all goes well, they should make it in 6 hours. Meanwhile, close to the village of 2 Dot, the herd that Harrison scared with his last shot has fled into the valley. The hunter's plan to separate this morning has worked perfectly. Rick, who was in a waiting position while Harrison reached the crest, now spots the animals, but they're far off, more than 600 yards away.
The elk were just kind of milling around out in the middle of the flat there.
Despite the distance, after 7 days of stalking, the old hunter does not intend to miss his chance.
It was not a real good opportunity, but it was the only opportunity in front of me. It was a long shot.
Well, fuck. Fuck.
I did take a couple shots, and the elk left. Then I could see that I had wounded a cow that I'd shot at. But it wasn't a lethal hit.
Damn, I
got some long shots here. There was, it was long, probably 600 yards. At that far, it looked like I probably hit her low in the brisket. But anyway, she peeled off and headed down that ridge and actually dropped off into a creek bottom over here.
At that point, I knew later I could go down and follow up where she had went over a ridge there.
The injured elk female just disappeared behind the ridge. Rick will track her later. First, he must join Harrison a little further up the mountain. Rick knows his buddy's going to need help. An elk cow weighs more than 400 pounds, and the men must manage to bring her remains back to the camp.
I didn't know where Rick was or what he had going on, and being as it was at least 15 below that morning, I decided to start cleaning my elk as soon as I got to it because, well, one, it's decomposing as soon as the heart stops beating, and two, if you wait too long when it's cold like that, it's gonna be frozen solid and really hard to deal with.
Good eating for a while now. Well, this is what that shoulder season's all about. It's decrease elk population to a more reasonable number. You know, just eat a lot of grass and wreck a lot of fences. But at the same time, they were here first, so it's kind of a balancing act between us and these guys.
What are you doing there, cowboy?
Oh, pull the guts out of this thing. I'm glad to see you. I didn't want to drag it back over there.
A nice big old cow.
Yeah. Should be some good eating.
Should be. Looks like it was lung shot.
About 300 yarder from...
You were down there?
Them little black ball knobs on top of that hill.
Oh.
I do believe we're gonna have some heart and liver for dinner, though.
Do you have onions?
We'll work on that after we get the rest of the guts out of her.
Let me see what I can do.
Okay.
This is called cleaning the animal. We're removing the organs and the entrails and stuff.
As soon as the heart stops beating, gases start building up in the guts and the intestines, and they'll leak out and spoil all your meat. So you got to do it ASAP.
Harrison will head back to camp, where he'll finally be able to rest after 7 trying days in the mountains. As for Rick, he must track the elk he shot a little earlier, because you never leave a wounded animal in the wild. The old hunter's day is not over yet. Further north in the city of Great Falls, the big rodeo weekend wraps up. The competitors are preparing to compete in the final round of the final contest, the one that will decide the winners in each category. After a satisfying first lap and a perfect second lap, Henry Hollenbeck, nicknamed Hank, cements his lead in steer wrestling.
The winner of tonight's Hank Hollenbeck School Rough Stock Challenge, okay?
For this third round, Henry decides to take all the risks, but the rule is strict. The steer must completely cross the starting line before the champion can start. If not, the Cowboys penalized 10 seconds. In the language of rodeo, it's called breaking the barrier.
And the reigning Montana Circuit champion.
Just by the circumstances of the arena and the score and everything. And the way the steers were, they were starting to get some confidence, and some of the steers are getting missed, and it was easier to get out of the barrier than break the barrier. Just go try to be as fast as you can and make sure you get your hands on him. I felt really confident. When I nodded my head, I felt like I got a good, honest leave from the corner, and I knew I wasn't going to get outrun, and I was going to be in the right position. Everything was kind of coming together. Rooster, he moved just right for me to get down and get a hold of the steer. The steer kind of stopped with his horns sideways a little bit, so sometimes you'll miss him, but I was able to catch him just right, and he felt great on the ground. Catching his horns was probably the biggest obstacle in the run, and then he come around and he threw pretty good. Everything was good.
Wait a minute. Oh.
Turn around and I felt really good, and I look up and the judge was waving his hands in the air. And
he broke the barrier. He knew he had to have a great run.
I broke the barrier. I broke it. That's just the way it goes.
14-4.
Shit. He had his run that third round, and it was awesome. And then you hear the little which means he broke the barrier. And I was like, God, no, because it was such a good run. And I knew it would have placed like first or second or third, and that's what he needed to win. And then as soon as that 10-second penalty went off, there's no way you're gonna get first or second in that round.
It's a failure for Henry. To leave a few hundredths of a second too early, he loses the title he so dearly coveted.
I figured it was about a $4,000 loss, breaking that barrier. I ended up with the calf roping and the tie down. I won about 9,100, and I figured that deal there was about 4,000, and a saddle. I hope I get the opportunity again, but it is what it is.
But thanks to his excellent performance during the regular season and his standing in the other category finals, he wins the all-around champion title for the third time in a row.
It's the fastest run of the week.
Hank Hollenbeck, the all-around champion cowboy.
And the saddle that goes with it.
In the end, I'm still going to Florida for the finals, so I still get a chance to go down there and win as much money as I can and do as well as I can. Sure would have been nice not to break that barrier, but I still had a good time. Family had a good time. Just one little deal could have went a little better, but I can't complain that I didn't have success there.
Henry, Sarah, and Rhett head back to the ranch. Soon the family will grow. And the next little Hollenbeck will have the rodeo in his or her blood. In the mountains north of the small town of Lincoln, Jenny and her team set off on Montana's largest dog sled race, the legendary Race to the Sky. This year, the weather's ridiculous. A brutal cold snap has gripped the region, and the wind makes the race even more difficult.
It was going to be the coldest race I had ever done.
The dogs are cold, not having fun. We're done.
Despite her fears, Jenny started, but she's not confident she'll finish.
I was seriously thinking of having to call the race at the halfway checkpoint. I was probably 75% or more sure that I was gonna withdraw because the weather forecast for the checkpoint was high winds and cold. That was hard because we've been working all season, but there's no shame in making a hard decision when it's in the dog's best interest. And at the end of the day, I do this for the dogs, not for racing. The wind definitely had taken its toll on the trail as far as creating drifting snow and hard drifts across the trail. But fortunately, the dogs seemed to do really well with that, which was a concern of mine because those kind of conditions are harder to run through. It's kind of like running through sand.
The dogs seem to completely ignore the conditions. The long days of training are paying off.
I was just really, really impressed with them because they were loving it. Meanwhile, I'm standing on the back of the sled, panicking about the cold weather. It's blowing wind and I can barely see. And they're like, woohoo, this feels great. And I caught all but one of the teams in front of me pretty much in the first half of that run.
After 5 hours of racing, it's the middle of the night, and Jenny and her team are getting closer to the checkpoint. Right now, she's in second place. At the checkpoint, she's greeted by her husband, Mike, and 2 friends, Kevin and Richard. But Jenny has no time to rest. The dogs are her priority.
Once I gain the checkpoint, I'm so focused on getting the dogs taken care of that I forget about everything. Well, I'm feeding them snacks, or after I go through, start with Bella and Soldier. Okay. Start taking their booties off.
Yeah. Okay. You'll probably need to pop those.
I can't take care of my dogs in this kind of weather. We're in big trouble. What I feed is a beef meat, and I mix that with a lot of water because I need to make sure they are super hydrated because they use a lot of water doing what they do, and they're not just gonna drink plain water. I don't want them standing on that cold snow too long, just enough to get them to cool down a little bit so that they can comfortably eat, but not too much that they start to get chilled. And then I go through and I start checking everybody's wrists and putting wrist wraps on them. And that's to keep heat inside their wrists, one of the most crucial joints that they're using and that they're relying on to run.
Jenny and the dogs have only a few hours to eat and rest.
The weather here at this checkpoint is a million times better than I expected it to be, so that'll be really good for the dogs, for them to rest, hopefully. So, no injuries so far. So now I got the dogs all taken care of. I'm gonna go inside and get some food for myself. That also gets me away from the dogs so they're not thinking that I'm preparing to go run again, because they'll be kind of watching me and thinking I'm maybe getting ready to pick up and go. So if I leave, they'll be more likely to settle down and go to sleep, which is what I want them to do.
The dogs will finally be able to sleep a little. In 2 hours, Jenny will wake them up. It'll be time to attack the second part of the race and hopefully finish in the lead. Success is not assured in the mountains near the village of 2 Dot, where Rick Matzik tracks the elk he wounded earlier in the day.
Or it looked like I probably hit her low in the brisket.
Rick must hurry before nightfall. He goes to where he saw the animal disappear behind the ridge.
There's 2 elk coming across here by themselves, and I'm pretty sure that back one is that cow that I've hit. She's not hit real bad, but I know I hit her. So anyway, I'm gonna get over here and drop into this timber that she's headed for, and then put an end to this story. When I got down into the cottonwoods there, it was really thick, really hard to see over 50 yards. It's just a lot of sneaking, and it's really quiet, and you're very almost electrified to the surroundings around you.
weaving down through these cottonwoods. It's just really a slow-going process. I've got to be able to see her before she sees me. It's been a long drag to here, and I want a happy ending on this. I gotta look under every tree, behind every log, because she could be anywhere near. I think I see her head there just above that log. I'm gonna have to maybe get a little different angle here. I think if I can get about another 30 feet closer, get these big trees between me and her. I can just see her head, just barely behind that log. I just had a 3-inch crack to shoot through between some big cottonwood trees. Got her. Done deal. I was able to shoot her in the back of the head, and it was game over. This is a prime cow. She's a big dry cow and gonna be really good eating. So I'm gonna get to the part now pulling the guts out of it, and then we'll come get this old cow out of the woods and back to the ranch.
Okay, pulling ahead.
All right.
After 7 days of stalking in the mountains, Rick and Harrison bring their catch back to the camp.
I can't believe how fat these elk are.
Well, they're living pretty well, that's for sure.
Are they in the
The elk I harvested, I brought back to Big Timber. I donated half of it to the Hunters Against Hunger, which is a program for hard-pressed people in Montana. It helped people out, and it helped Harrison and the ranch out, so it was win-win from start to finish.
The night will soon fall on the White family ranch. The two hunters will finally enjoy a good evening of rest.
Harrison, I'm pleased. Thank you very much.
Rick.
I'm glad we made it work.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Rick will return home to Absaroka with a sense of accomplishment. Harrison has his work cut out for him. Soon, the birth season will begin. And with the 1,500 cows in the herd, the days will be full. The contest isn't over in the mountains north of the small town of Lincoln, where the competitors of the legendary Race to the Sky stopped for a few hours to rest and refuel. After considering giving up on the first leg because of the terrible weather, Jenny and her team were super performers in the first 55 miles of the ride.
I was just really, really impressed with them. I caught all but one of the teams in front of me in the first half of that run.
At the checkpoint, she holds second place. The start for the second and last part of the race is set for precisely 3:03.
The dogs rested great. My mind kind of switched from thinking that I might have to call it quits on the race to I might win this race. The team in front of me was not out of reach, and my dogs were really excited to leave the checkpoint. They were ready to rumble. I repacked my sled. I started looking at my watch and waiting until the last minute possible before I start taking the dog jackets off and their wrist straps off so that heat stays in there. Last thing we do is put booties on and I hook them up to their harnesses, and then it's go time. The dogs were, I mean, they were on fire. So I didn't doubt them at all that they could catch this team in front of us. This second leg is a little bit shorter, 45 miles, and there's less elevation gain, which means it's faster, which in its own way can be challenging, but I could tell that the dogs were ready to do some speed.
The 45 miles of the second part of the race will be very fast for all competitors. And after 4 hours of intense racing, Jenny will cross the finish line minutes after the victorious team. A second-place finish she would never have dared to believe before she started.
That's still pretty dang good for half the team being approaching retirement age and the other half the team being young, inexperienced dogs.
I did it.
We had been focused on that race for a year. All that I did with the dogs, all that I did with training, everything was focused towards that point. So I was really proud of the dogs because they did really well, especially Soldier. Even without his hip, to be a young dog like that and to lead the entire race and in those weather conditions, his first year racing, that was a lot. That was a huge accomplishment. And it was just even more fantastic and more proud for me that he did that after a comeback from a disability he was born with. Kind of the miracle boy he is.
After 2 days of racing in the cold and wind, Jenny and her team finally have the right to get warm. Coming in second in the longest sled dog race in Montana, Jenny knows she was right and that Soldier is a born leader. Next year, she knows she'll prove it.